All right. Peace and blessings. Happy Sabbath and all that good stuff. Hope everybody had a blessed and prosperous week. And if you didn't, use their weapons, pray and fast and seek the Most High for a change. Um, we're uh, we're in the end days, last days, end times, whatever you want to call it. And so for the last few weeks, or for the last few lessons, I've been doing some things out of Revelations to a degree, or some things just kind of towards the end times. We did the Antichrist. We did who else? What else? I can't even remember now. Oh, we got to do the wilderness soon. What was the other one we did?
We did the four beasts.
The four beasts. There we go. We did the four beasts. And so now we're at the point where in Revelations 12, we're talking about Satan or this beast-like figure chasing the woman who represented Israel into the wilderness. And when that happened, we ended up going into the wilderness, the place of safety, which I can't promise I'm going to do that one next, but it will be soon because that's very important. But it said that he went to go make war after the remnant. And then when we go into the very next chapter, it kicks off into the mark of the beast. And that's something everybody talks about, the mark of the beast, mark of the beast, mark of the beast. And they make it something that you can't read. However, because you can insinuate from the reading certain things, we got all these different things about the mark of the beast, what it is, who give it, when it'll be. And sometimes we can sensationalize things because of how we feel about it. We can get a little overhyped about it, and we don't do the proper studying or the reading. Remember, the mark of the beast is a biblical event, so you must seek it first fully out of the Bible before you go to the outside sources. So a lot of people say, what is the mark of the beast? I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, what is the mark of the beast? And I've heard it all from a chip being implanted in your hand or your forehead to one world religion where you're going to have to do everything that the Pope say. I mean, it's a lot of stuff out here. But in order to find out or figure out what the mark of the beast is, let's look at the phrase. It's called the mark of the beast. So if we try to figure out what the mark is, maybe we should start with who or what is giving the mark. It's the mark of the beast. If you are marked of something, that means you belong to something, right? So if you got the mark of the beast, that's like saying you belong to the beast. The beast has put his mark on you. You get protection, you get financial security, you get food, you get all these things because you belong to the beast or a beast system in which they are basically going to protect you up until a certain point by you choosing them. And for those that didn't make the wilderness, it's going to be a rough time because you got to avoid the mark of the beast. However, if Satan is saying these people belong to me, then these other people, if you're not marked by the beast, it's only two. You got the Most High and you got Satan. You got the beast and you got the lion. So what about the mark of God or the mark of the lion? We never really talk about that, and that's why we don't understand the mark of the beast. You can go to Cain and see even Cain had a mark that God gave him that protected him. Even though Cain was not a son of God, however, God still chose to protect him in his situation so that he could live out his life and his punishment. So what is the mark then? What is the beast? Who is the beast? So before we get into all of that, we will start off answering that. We're going to pick up where we left off. So from the previous video, we talked about the Antichrist and the Arabs being on one accord or of the same. And here's something to think about. Now, I couldn't throw all the scriptures in here because I'm trying to make these lessons not as long, even if I got to split them. But if you go to Matthew 24, he says, Christ is telling you, and there's going to be a lot of false Christ, right? And then he also tells you, if they say go to the desert, he's in the desert, go not. And these are the signs that let you know when I return, right? Why are they saying that? Well, in Islam, they have something called the Mahdi. And the Mahdi, it says, or the Al-Mahdi, it says, is a messianic figure in Islam. So you have a Christ or a messianic, which is just a Messiah, which we say that's the Son of God, who the Bible calls Jesus, right? You have a Messiah in the Bible, or in, I don't want to say Christianity because that's really not of the Bible, but you have a real messianic figure that pertained to Israel and everybody that decided to sojourn with them. But then we read it now because we know Satan likes to mimic. He loves to mimic. We got a messianic figure in Islam. Let's read it though. It says it's a messianic figure in Islamic eschatology who is believed to appear at the end times to rid the world of evil and injustice. Is that not the same thing that the Bible says Christ is going to do? So you don't need both. You don't need the Bible and the Quran. That's what they're going to tell you, because they're going to tell you it's one and the same. We have a Savior too. We're talking about the same Savior. But are they? Obviously, they're not. When you go into what the biblical Savior is about and the Islamic Savior is about. But if you don't know this, you'll be fooled. And notice he says, in the desert, right? He said, they'll say I'm in the desert. Well, who's in the desert right now? Would that be the Arabs? Right over there in the Middle East. Right where Christ said he's coming back to first. In Bosra, I don't know how to say it. So let's continue. Then you have something, they call it, it says a deceitful Messiah. This is called the Dajjal. This is another, and I'm not at all Islamic, so I'm probably butchering these words. I don't care. Y'all can look it up, Dajjal, and however you want to say it, that's on you. But it says the Dajjal, otherwise, it says the deceitful Messiah, otherwise referred to simply as the Dajjal, is an evil figure in Islamic eschatology who will pretend to be a promised Messiah and later claim to be God. Ain't that the role of the Antichrist in the Bible? Then it says appearing before the day of judgment according to the Islamic eschatological narrative. So in Islam, they got the same narrative that the Bible has to a degree. It's just the small details that we don't study and read that's going to separate you. Like, what does it say about the Bible whenever it's time for your Messiah to come? It says that the sun will not give his light, the moon will turn to blood, angels are going to gather you, you're going to be in the wilderness. It's a lot, or some of us, it's a lot of things that coincide with that. But if you don't know it, you can look at the events that they are going to portray through AI, which we know, artificial intelligence. That is definitely of Satan. Listen to the name, artificial. It's fake, right? Artificial is fake, right? So if it's artificial intelligence, he is the deceiver, right? Satan is a deceiver. It's fake intelligence. He's not even hiding it. He's calling it artificial. He's telling you, hey, yes, my name is Satan. I'm here today to give you some fake intelligence. That's what he's telling you. It's artificial. But we love it because we are lazy people. And because we are lazy people, anything that the AI can do to make our life easier, because God said you got to go out there and work hard for your stuff, Satan said, no, you don't. Come get this AI. I got you. And that AI, or artificial intelligence, is hurting us, and it's of him. And we're not going to deviate. It's the reason I'm bringing this up, because artificial is fake, right? Satan is the deceiver, right? But when we went into the Antichrist, what did we say? It said that Allah was the most deceitful of all, right? But we got artificial or fake intelligence. What would the real intelligence come from? That would be wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High given by way of the Holy Spirit, right? So if you got the Holy Spirit dropping you some real knowledge, some real wisdom and understanding, some true intelligence, or, which is based on the intellect, that's why it's intelligence, intellect, which is your mind, right? Which we know is your spirit. So if the intelligence goes back to intellect, which goes back to your mind, which is your spirit, then artificial intelligence is also looked at as a fake spirit. Wait a minute, a fake spirit? So is this how they're going to be doing so much in the end? Let's read it though. It says he's pretending to be a Messiah, but really he's going to claim to be God, and we're going to see it's over for everybody that follows this. But guess what? I'm reading you, not the Bible. I'm giving it to you from the Islamic narrative. So they got a very similar narrative because Satan is mimicking God to trick people. So when you see it, you're going to say, it played out just like the Muslims said it would, and we're going to choose what they're saying to do. They have their own everything. When y'all get a chance, look into AI. Look into Project Bluebeam, where they can look into the sky. They can show certain things in the sky, and it looks like it's happening, but it's really not. It's just a visual. Let's continue. I'm really about to mess this word up. This next one is called the Yejuj Majuj. That's crazy. It says, in Islamic eschatology, two hostile, corrupt forces that will ravage the earth before the end of the world. That's what those two are, the Yajuj and the Majuj, which is no different than what? Let's read. They are the counterparts of Gog and Magog in the Hebrew Bible and in the Christian New Testament. But it says they are mentioned in Surahs 18 and 21 of the Quran, the Holy Book of Islam. So they have Gog and Magog coming together, but they call it something else because they don't want you to know who Gog and Magog is, because that's pointing towards China and Russia, which we see is happening today. Why is it we reading stuff out the Bible, but we're reading, hey, the Quran has a very similar narrative? It's because that's what Satan is. He comes as an angel of light, right? But he is a deceiver. And then he tells you the God that he's setting up, Allah, is the greatest deceiver. Why? Because that Allah is none other than Satan. Let's continue. Because these are end time events that's centered around what's going on today. All right. So now you got something called the Dabbat al-Ard. D-A-B-B-A-T and then A-L-hyphen-A-R-D. Then you can say how you want to when you look it up. So it says this is a creature that's mentioned in the Quran in Surah 27 and 82 for somebody that want to go and find that. But it says it will appear in the sky, and the sky will be covered with smoke. Well, I can read you, I think it's in Revelations 20, but I'm not sure. But I know it's in Revelation where it says the angel will take the key and unlock the bottomless pit or something like that. And what was going to ascend out of the pit? A whole bunch of smoke. So once again, I don't think I got to beat a dead horse. I'm just showing you, if you got all these events happening, even though they're going to be slightly different when you go into detail, but most people don't study. They don't go into detail. So if you got things that sound the same, why do we need both? Well, if you don't need both, which one are you going to get rid of? Is it going to be the Quran and Islam, or is it going to be the Bible and Christianity? Which one are you going to give up? Because you're not going to need both. Why do you think they're talking about a one world religion today? Because it sounds to me they are already making a decision on which one you're going to have. And what is the fastest growing religion on the face of the earth right now? Islam. So keep that in mind. And guess what? This particular animal is they call this the beast. In Islam, they call this the beast. Look it up. And guess what this beast is supposed to do? That I just named. I butchered his name, I'm sure, the Dabbat al-Ard or whatever. This beast comes out out of the sky. The sky's going to be full of smoke. And guess what he's supposed to do? It says, the prophet, it says, Abu Amuma reported, this is the prophet, one of their prophets in Islam. It says, peace and blessings be upon him, said. And then he says, the beast will emerge and place a mark on the faces of the people. So the beast is giving out a mark too. So you're actually going to be thinking that you're taking the right mark if you're not studying, because there is a mark of the beast. And they calling it the Baal, aka a beast, and saying it will mark you. The Bible is telling you in the end, it's going to come a beast and he's going to mark you. They're telling you, yes, we have a beast and it's going to mark you. Why are we confused on who the people are that's going to be doing the marking? Why? I can't understand that. So let's continue. While we are continuing, I want to put a quote out there that you could go. I think you could find it in, actually, I think the Washington Post. Well, it was in 2012 where Barack Obama was in office. And we know Barack Obama, that name is not a name that most of us English-speaking Americans have. You know why? Because he is not that. You know what he was raised as and continued on in his adulthood when you do research? Yes, our president, he was a Muslim. Yes. This is why he was named that. This is why he was referred to as that. And guess what? All Muslims don't get along with each other because we'll go into this another time, but you got Sunnis and you got Shiites. So some people will wonder, well, look, he was against some Muslims. Yes, certain ones. But he wasn't against Allah. Let's read his quote. He quoted, he says, the future must not belong to those who target Coptic Christians in Egypt. And then he also said, and must not belong to those who slander the prophet. The prophet? What prophet? Well, when you continue, it says, the prophet of Islam. I stopped at prophet just in case somebody was thinking, well, maybe he's talking about Ezekiel or maybe Jesus or Moses or the prophet of Islam. So he was a supporter of Islam, yes, and your vice president now, Kamala Harris, she is a big supporter of Middle Eastern and Asiatic affairs, and she was raised in such a culture. So we have a Democratic Party that is very supportive of what's going on in the Middle East right now with them merging with Russia and China. Don't believe the hype that you see on TV. What you got to do is you got to go and do your own research. And when you do your own research, what you'll find is not only is she of that same culture that I said she was, but her and President Biden before office and during his time in office have made many contributions to that same culture. And they show up for certain cultural days that they have over there. So, you know what? Let's get into the scriptures. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's get Revelations though, because the question that we had to ask, Revelations 13:1 was where we start. We had to ask, what is this beast that's marking us? Or who is this beast that's marking us, right? That's what we got to answer. It's actually two beasts in Revelations though. And that's the crazy part. So this is what we'll do. I'm not going to read Daniel 7 for the sake of time, but I'll mention it. When you go to Daniel 7, those first few scriptures, it talks about 4 different beasts, right? But it said, it gave you the description of the 3 beasts. Read that on your own time. I put it in probably when I did the 4 beasts. Excuse me. So I definitely think you should watch that video if you haven't. With the 4 beasts, and you read the first one, second one, third one, and then the 4th one was like a combination of all of them together. And we get ready to read that now, but then this is the first beast. There's a second beast in Revelation 13, And this empire looks a little different. So we're gonna read it because I said beast is empire, right? Some people say the beast is Islam. I mean, I wouldn't put a big argument against it because they coincide heavily, but the beast, according to Daniel, was always kingdoms or empires. So let's read Revelation 13:1. All right, it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having seven heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. You're going to see this again in Revelation 17. All right. It says, verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon, we know the dragon is Satan from Revelations 12. And the dragon gave him power and his seat and great authority. So that power is spiritual power, like witchcraft, right? When we read Daniel 8, it talked about that little horn coming up in the fourth beast, which I believe that's what we're reading about now, me personally. It talked about how he was able to do all types of wonders, lying wonders and things. It also says in this, I think 2 Thessalonians, but it says, but not by his power. You know why? Because no man could jump up and do that. Satan has to give you that, or the Most High has to give you that. So Satan gave this man power to do these type of things, miraculous stuff. But also he gave him his seat and great authority. Great authority means he's ruling everything. But the seat is key because we know where he's at now. The seat was located in Pergamos, which is current day Turkey. Let's continue. Are you seeing this beast though? It says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto this beast? Who is able to make war with him? So they felt like nobody could deal with this beast. These people going to worship this beast. They're going to feel like nothing. Who could stop this? Kind of like what we would say if Russia and China and the Middle East got together. Nobody could stop them. Who could make war with them? Sounds familiar, right? We'll continue. It says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. How long is 42 months? There we go, 3.5 years, also known as 1,260 days, I think, and a time, and divided a time. This is a wilderness period, but remember, after people went into the wilderness, he still was making war with everybody else, and that's what we're reading about. We'll get ready to read about. All right? It says, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Now, then it says, and I beheld another beast coming up. Y'all see that? Got a second one. I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. Christ was a lamb, right? And he spake as a dragon. That sounds like Satan again, right? Sounds like Satan is mimicking Christ. Like he's coming out to do this himself now. That's what it sounds like. Then it says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Now, I don't know if this is real or if this is just going to be an illusion, because we know he has the capability of both. But you see, he's going to do great wonders, so much that he's going to deceive people. because he's a great deceiver. Then it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Y'all see that? They got to make an image to the beast now. Ain't that something? An image to the beast. I almost want to rearrange some stuff, but I'm not. We'll speak on the image later. But it says, let me see. Okay, let me scroll down. That's why. All right, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. So whatever this image is, they had power to give life to it. Meaning, even though whatever this image is, it's not real, it looks like it's real, right? It's lifeless because it's just an image. Whether people think it's a statue, which I think if you look it up, it says statue, but in translation. But whether you got people that's got different variations on what they think the image is. I think it's a statue because these people love statue and idol worship. They always have. But it says he's going to give life. You see this? Life into the image of the beast. So the beast, which remember, this is an empire, a religious empire that's going to force people to do stuff. And one of the things they're going to force you to do is worship the beast and his image. And they're going to give you an image, and it's going to be so crazy because they're going to give life to this image. And it says, image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So you're going to have to worship this beast, and if you don't, you're going to die. And this beast, the image of the beast, and this image that's going to be presented to you of the beast is going to be able to speak. Y'all see this? And not just speak, I'm pretty sure, what it say? Let's read it again. I want to make sure I'm getting it right. And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause people. So the image is going to be causing people to die that don't worship it. The image got power to do that, whatever this image is. So let's think. How in today's time, because this is for today's time, how would you get something that has no life to be able to speak and also cause people to die if they don't listen? Almost like a robot or something, huh? Would it be through AI technology? Could artificial intelligence be able to do that? Absolutely. You got cars that drive themselves now, right? You got various technology from phones and tablets and things like that you could just call out, hey, whoever, Google, Siri, whatever. And it will follow your prompt to the point that it can make a call for you. It can plan stuff for you. You got your personal assistant right here, almost like it has life, right? But that's what we just read. To a degree, an image that can speak and also cause people to die. So it's got that type of power. Whether it's mobility in it or not, it has that type of power. Because Satan is going to give it, and Christ is going to allow it. Because if you're dealing with Christ, it shouldn't matter no way. But it's gonna matter because we're gonna find out there's some people that's saying they're dealing with the Bible, they're dealing with God, and they not. They're gonna fall to this beast because it's gonna be so miraculous. They in love with AI now and don't even know it sometimes. Artificial intelligence ain't nothing but a fallen spirit. That's all it is. Let's continue that. Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great. Who is this he? Is this the beast or is it the image? Because whoever he is, obviously, is a continuance of whatever we were just talking about. Let's go back and see. Verse 15. And he had power to give life to the image, right? That the image of the beast and should speak and cause people to die that don't worship it, right? Let's go up another one. Who is this person? This person is the first beast. It says, and he exercised all the power of the second beast. He exercised all the power of the first beast. So this is going to be a one world ruler from the looks of it, because it didn't say them. It said he. I don't care if it's one empire with a bunch of kings. There's going to be a select person that's going to be making these decisions. And he says he's going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So he don't care who you are. He don't care if you're free, if you're locked up in jail, if you're rich, if you're poor, if you famous, if you so-called nobody. He's going to cause you to receive a mark. And look at where it says, in your right hand or in their foreheads. This is all key. Because now they're going to say, they're going to put a microchip in your hand. Well, what happens if somebody, let's be literal, because that's what we're taking it as, right? What happens if someone don't have a right hand or don't have a arm? Is that why it says forehead too? Now you got to get the chip implanted in your forehead. So they can't just put it in your left hand and it do the same? Or does this mean something different? Let's continue though. It says, and that no man might buy or sell except he have the mark, but not just the mark. This how you know it's not just about a chip or something going in your body. It says not just the mark. It says you can't buy or sell unless you got the mark. Or, we got an option now, huh? Or the name of the beast. So whatever name the beast is coming in, you're going to have to bow to that, even if you don't have the mark. Because it's or. Then it says, or the number of his name. When we break that down, you'll know that means or you're going to be just a part of them, because these are particular people. If you are one of them, you're good. If you're not one of them and you want to be one, then you're going to take the name of the beast and you're going to move in the name of Allah or Bismillah. We'll get to Bismillah later. Or you're going to say, I ain't dealing with none of that, but I'll take it in my right hand. And that's what we're going to find out. When you look up Mark, it says, in right hand, it says a badge of servitude, meaning you're going to work for these people. You're going to go and do it. Your work, your right hand shows your power, your strength, your work, your actions. Even if you say, man, I can't do all, I'm not bowing, I'm not doing this, they're going to say, okay, well, you're still going to do what we tell you to do, or you're going to not eat. So you're going to have people that's going to do that. Let's continue though. It says, here is wisdom. Here is wisdom. But he also told you, if you got an ear, you better listen. Now, normally it's spiritual talk coming in, right? It's something deep. The first thing he says is, here's wisdom. And they even put a period to let you know this separate. It go with it, but get this first. Here is wisdom. Who had the most wisdom in the Bible outside of the Most High Son? Absolutely, Solomon. Keep that in mind. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. So he's saying, if you really want to know what's going on, you got some understanding, you need to count the number of the beast. To count is basically not necessarily count like 1 through 10, but mathematically, you got to figure it out. To figure, it says, for it is the number of a man. So wait a minute. There is a man or people that's behind this. Remember, I told you the name of the beast or the number of his name. I told you the number of his name means you could be a part of them, a part of these people. But this is saying, for it is the number of a man. Same thing. And his number is what? 600, 6. That's 666. Everybody hear that and they take off running. They get scared. They cut the TV off, cut the lights on. We don't want to hear no more. This is why I don't read Revelations, because 666 is bad, is evil, is demonic. Let's see what the Bible says about 666, because this ain't the only place that it's in. All right. You ready? before we do that, we're going to wait on it. Let's continue. We're going to break down some of this other stuff, though. Let's get Revelations 14:1. I know everybody want to go straight to it now. Keep in mind, here is wisdom. We're going to get to the 666. But let's walk this thing down. Because we talked about being, having the right hand, which was the power, and the mark was badge of servitude. Then they said if it's not in the right hand, it could be in your forehead, which is in your mind, which means you made the decision to do this. Like, look, I'm going to do this because this is what I want. I believe in this. So, or you could be a part of these people, which was the number. Those was the options. Revelations 14:1. It says, and I looked, and lo, a lamb. Who's the lamb? Let's pause. Let's make sure before we go in front. The lamb is Christ, right? A lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000. So now we got to go and see the 144,000, right? But let's see what it says. Having his father's name written in their foreheads. So if we're supposed to be taking this literal, did somebody open up their forehead and write his name there? Absolutely not. Because we don't get the name until he returned, right? Well, this looks like he may have returned at this point. Let's go a little further. Where we're going? Revelation 7, right? Revelation 7, and we're going to start at the top. And we're going to see before Christ got here what took place. And we're going to see it wasn't no surgery done where they opened up and wrote the name in their mind. So when it says on their foreheads, you got to look at the same thing for the mark of the beast. Excuse me, because I'm showing you the mark of God or the seal of God. Let's read it. Revelation 7:1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind would not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor any tree. So these angels are holding destruction, right? They're waiting for something. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. So it's an angel coming from the east. And what does he have? The seal. So he's coming to seal somebody, right? Let's see. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees. Don't touch nothing. Because I got this seal in my hand, right? It says, till we have sealed these servants. I told you it was a badge of servitude, right? Now we see the seal is God's mark. What did I say a mark was? Badge of servitude. And what is he doing? He's bringing the seal. And what is he saying we get ready to do right here? We're going to seal who? The servants. You're going to serve 1 or 2. How many masters is it? Because he said you can't serve 2, right? Satan or Christ. It's the same thing. So he's saying, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm coming with the seal of the living God. And he said, don't touch nothing, right? Until what? We have sealed the service of our gods in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them. Wait, so you got a number again too? Because you got a number in Revelation 13. You got the mark of the beast, in which your actions, your mind, or the number of your name is what marks or seals you, right? But we got a number here. Satan's number was 666 for his marking and his numerology and number. But here it says, well, God's going to seal his people. And when God is sealing his people, he got a number too. And I heard the number of them which was sealed. And there was sealed 144,000. All of the tribes of the children of Israel, not of the church, not of the Missionary Baptist Church and AME Zion and non-denominational and Jehovah's Witness. No. He said, I'm not sealing them. I'm not sealing nobody based on where you attend. I'm sealing Israelites that I choose that are righteous. And when you continue to read, which we're not, he gets into each tribe. Let's continue though. Remember now, it said he was coming from the east, right? To mark. But where are these other people located? In the east. Satan's people in the east too. Whenever Cain got his mark and he went to the land of Nod, do y'all know where that's located? In the east. It's always, this stuff don't change. It don't change. All right, so we should hopefully we can see that this mark on the forehead is spiritual. It's based on what you're going to decide in your mind who you're going to serve. Some people can't make their mind up because they say, I'm going to decide in my mind, but they get hungry and they say, man, look, we're going to just do what they saying. But in my mind, I chose the Most High. But in my actions, I'm going to do what they say. And he said, listen, I don't care. I'm looking at your mind and your actions. You took the mark. You out of here. Then you got some people who are born into this. They are a part of that system or that culture as a people. So they are a part of that number. We're going to get to the number though. But first, let's get Ezekiel 9:4. Ezekiel 9:4. Is this easy to understand, y'all? I need to slow it down a little bit. It's a little tough over there. What about you? It's a little tough over there?
I'm confused.
Okay. What you confused on?
Okay.
You want to wait till it's over to get it? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You need to write it down or something?
Yeah.
You can go write it down. We'll get it right. Ezekiel 9:4. All right. That thing hurting his head over there. Gracious. So what? Yeah, his forehead. He's trying to choose now. That's good though. Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men. Wait a minute. Here we go again with a mark on the forehead. But for some reason, people want to get a tattoo, a QR code. They're thinking all this crazy stuff. Somebody gonna open your mind and write something in there. They're gonna take a gun with a chip the size of a grain of rice and shoot it in there. All this stuff we reading though. Set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that are done in the midst thereof. So these are righteous people. Go mark all the righteous people. We just read that in Revelation 7, right? Let's continue. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have you pity. So he said, listen, after you done mark these people, kill the rest of them. That's going to happen again. It said we seen it with Noah. We seen it with the children of Israel, with the Passover. What was they covered by? The blood, right? But that blood, it said, was a token. The token is just another word for mark, sign, signal, all these things. He do the same thing. It says, slay utterly, old and young. So I don't care if they're an old man or a young lady. Kill them both. The maids, the little children, and the women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. So these angels doing this killing, they don't have to see a physical mark. They know. They know. Then they begin at the ancient men, which were before the house. So that makes sense because the sanctuary is the first people in charge. That's your first line of defense, the closest to God, supposedly. And the ancient men, the old heads, they're supposed to be the next man up. They're supposed to be wise enough to know better, right? It says, and he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew the city. So we see the mark on the forehead is not a revelation, just new thing. This is something that God always has done. Because he's telling you it's a spiritual and mental decision that you have to make. Now, let's get to where everybody want to get to. Let's go back to Revelations 13 and 18. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I forgot. I got one more I got to show. Exodus 31 and 13. Let's do that. Exodus 31 and 13. All right. Getting ahead of myself. I'm getting excited about this thing. All right. We got to see one more time how the Lord deal with you now. Because I told you these people are going to institute a religious system with their beasts. And so we're going to see what happens if you leave the Most High's quote-unquote religious system. So that was Exodus 31 and 13. It says, speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you. You see that? I mean, It's clear. It's a sign. What is a sign? A beacon, a signal, a token, a mark. That's what it is. All these words basically mean the same. It is a sign. You use a sign to identify, right? To know something, to know what or who, right? But he's telling you what the sign is for. It's a sign between me and you. So to know if we are together, I look for a certain sign. And that Sabbath is that sign. So if you're not keeping the Sabbath and you ain't even trying to keep the Sabbath, you don't belong to God. And it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear, right? Let's continue. It's a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am the Lord that do sanctify you. Y'all see that? That's pretty clear. I am the Lord that do sanctify you. I'm setting you apart from everybody else. But to know that you are still set apart from everybody else, I gotta be able to have a sign. If you had 10 marbles on the floor, right? And they all was the same. If you separated 5 over here and 5 over here, you really still wouldn't know which ones was which. You would just be like, well, I mean, they all the same. But if you said, I'm gonna put on 3 of these marbles, I'm gonna take a Sharpie and just put a line or something. I'm gonna mark them, right? I'm gonna mark them. And that's gonna be a sign to me, no matter how many times they get scattered, no matter how many times they come back together. If I leave and come back, and even if one is missing, I'll know that because I have marked them. He's telling you, when you get marked, I'll know if you're staying under your mark by if you operating in my Sabbath. But if they come in here with this Sunday law that some people are saying they bring in, that's speculation, but it makes sense, especially with this. Or if they come in with, okay, even if it's not a Sunday law, if they come in with a whole new religion that doesn't honor the Sabbath, then if you decide that you're going to say, listen, man, I know it's against the law to do the Sabbath, so I ain't going to do it, but in my heart, I'm still with God. He's going to say, no, I didn't see you do it, because you don't hear a sign, do you? You got to see that, right? All right, let's continue. So now we're going to go back to Revelations 13 and 18. We cut that off. You're over there struggling. All right, Revelations, I said 13, right? Okay, 13, and we're going back to 18. Here is wisdom. This is my favorite part because this is the part that's undeniable, right? Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. So we got wisdom. I'm not saying that wisdom just means Solomon, because wisdom is given by the Holy Spirit. But it says, let him that's got understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man. And his number is 666. All right, let's look and see something real quick. I do not. Let me see. If you get on Google, because I got it on this laptop, so I ain't gonna be able to show it. I might try to show it towards the end, but if you type in, if you look up the phrase Bismillah, it means in the name of Allah. And the way that you write that in Arabic is the same exact way that you write 666 in Greek. The numbers, basically. I don't want to say numerology, but the numbers. Now, I know that might sound crazy to people, but when you look at, and I know you probably ain't gonna be able to see this. Can you see that? I don't think you're gonna be able to see it. Let me see. Ain't no way I can. You can see it on there a little bit. I can't.
You said you can see
the symbols. You can see the symbols.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. I just do it like this for now. I know it's tacky, but you get the message. Look at the top one, and it says in the name of Allah. That's how you write it Can y'all see the symbol pretty good on that?
Yeah.
That's how you write that in Arabic, in the name of Allah. It's got two swords and a little squiggly in the middle, looks like a snake, and that's for a reason too. Now, I'm going to scroll down to the next one. And this is how you write the Greek number 666. I say Greek because the New Testament was written in Greek, right? Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Is that basically the same?
Yeah.
So when it says 666 in Greek, that's the same thing as Bismillah, which is in the name of Allah in Arabic. Is that this pretty clear? I'm gonna take my time. I know I might go over the time that I wanted, but I'm gonna scroll back up and I'm gonna show it one more time since I say you can see it clear. Because I don't want it to be no confusion. Like he's just making stuff up because this is 666 in Arabic. You see the two swords, the squiggly line in the middle like a snake, and then I can't remember at the end, but you see what's at the end. It's clear, right? Arabic. Now, this is how you, once again, write the Greek number 666. It says it's the number of man. Did it point us to the Arabs? So now we might have to figure out which one of the Arabs is leading the charge, if any. It could be the East Saudi Arabians, but that's different. You like that? Clear?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to continue with get back to regular scheduled programming. Just wanted to show 666 in Arab, what they call it, Aramaic or something like that. I don't know. Basically, for their language, that's how they write it for Bismillah. So let's go to 1 Kings 10 and 1. And let's go ahead and get on to the point of wrapping this thing up. Because I'm trying to show you where the mark of the beast is coming from and what it means. Now, don't get me wrong. When you add up, when you do the numerology for the mark of the beast, it comes out to the vicar of Christ, which is the substitute of Christ. That's what it says. Now, people look at that and they say, well, the Pope is the substitute of Christ, but we just seen in the beginning of this lesson, they have something called where they have their own Messiah called the Mahdi, I think. Yeah, the Mahdi. It says a messianic figure in Islamic eschatology that will appear at the end. They have their own. So just because the vicar of Christ fits the Pope, because we pushing it in there, don't mean that it's the Pope, because 666 is not for the Pope. This is for the particular people we get ready to read out the Bible. We ain't reading nothing out the Bible that said Pope. But we get ready to read this though. 1 Kings 10, right? And 1 through 3. And when the Queen of Sheba, a lot of people get confused on the Queen of Sheba. Oh, well, she was Ethiopian and all that. But y'all don't realize, y'all don't know who was ruling Ethiopia and Egypt at this time, because y'all so stuck on the history that man gives you instead of looking at what the Bible shows. And we're going to see anyway. It says, and when the Queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions. That's some wisdom, right? But it says, what did it say in Revelations? Y'all remember that? Wisdom, right? That was the first thing, the first warning it gave you. Let's not forget. So we don't get off track. I'm going to read it one more time. It said, here is wisdom, right before it went into the 666, right? And now she's dealing with Solomon, and he's giving her all the wisdom. It's right here, all the wisdom. It says, and Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything here from the king which he told her not. So he had the wisdom and gave it to her, showed her everything. Now, when you look and see Sheba, who is Sheba? When you look it up, it says the Sabians. The Sabians. Who were the Sabians? That's what we gotta figure that out now, because people gonna deny Sheba. So it says the Sabians, or okay, because you can spell it differently, but the same thing. The Sabians were an ancient group of South Arabians. It's right here. It's right here. So was she considered the queen of the South? Hey, let's continue. Let's continue though. So we know that she was dealing with Arabia, right? We're gonna see who else he was dealing with. We're gonna drop down to verse 10 and see something. It says, and she gave the king 120 talents of gold and of spices, very great store, and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these which the queen of Sheba, the queen of the Arabians, gave to King Solomon. Now we're going to drop down to verse 14. I'm going to read 15 too. I know I didn't put that on there, but I'm going to read 15 too. It says, now the weight of the gold to Solomon. Remember, she gave him gold, right? And she was from the Sabians, the South Arabs, right? South Arabians. Now the weight of the gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 606 talents. That's 666. Solomon, wisdom. Here is wisdom. Solomon dealing with the Arabians. We see 666 in the Greek brought you to Bismillah, which is the same sign that the Arabians used. It says, in the name of Allah. And now we see that Solomon dealt with these people, and they gave him 666 for the weight. And then verse 15, besides that, he had of the merchantman and of the traffic. So he was trading with merchants, spice. And then it says, and of all the kings of Arabia and all the governors of the country. So he was dealing with the kings of Arabia, the queen of South Arabia, and he ended up with 666 for his weight for the 120 talents of gold. Is that a coincidence that these people are associated with 666? They gave him exactly that, right? And just reiterating, just going back to Revelations 13, we gotta put this together. I'm just giving you time to let it marinate right now. Let's go to 18 again. It says, no, I got it right. It says, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. So the beast is 666, right? But we're just saying that these people are associated with the Arabians. So the beast number is the same number as the Arabians, and even in the same language that this is given to us in the Greek, the New Testament, 666 still came out to be the same symbol that Allah is. So when it says for it is the number of a man, and then we say the number of his name. What is the man and his name? Allah. 666. Bismillah. We're gonna continue though. We're gonna continue. I ain't gonna. All right. Let's get 2 Corinthians 10 and 3. We're good? Okay, 2 Corinthians 10 and 3. We just gotta let that marinate a little bit, man. That's like, this is in the Bible. This is nothing that I'm doing or anybody else doing. It's right here. And we see these people coming together today, formulating everything we're reading about. But see, we look at the mark of the beast from a physical thing. 2 Corinthians 10 and 3. It says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. So when you out here warring, the things you are looking at is not physical. Your battle is going to be a spiritual battle, even in the end. They may physically kill you, but it's over a spiritual decision. A spiritual decision, right? So, okay. So now we're going to get Daniel 3 and 1 through 8. I got another one I want to add, but I'm basically at my cutoff time that I wanted to be at. So that might have to be continued for that one. Daniel 3 and 1 through 8. Give me a quick second. Let me see. I don't want to do that. All right. It says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image. Remember we're talking about image? We're talking about image, wrong? We're talking about image. Nebuchadnezzar, do y'all know that Nebuchadnezzar is the king of Babylon? Do y'all know where Babylon is? It's Iraq, the Middle East. Same people. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. It says Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold. They love gold. Whose height was 60 cubits. Don't get scared. We ain't going 666 again. It's just 60 cubits. And the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king set up. So he set up an image, right? And told people, look, everybody coming to the dedication for this image, right? Y'all coming to worship this image. We just read about you having to worship an image. And it's the same people now take you in the past and show you ain't nothing new under the sun. Same thing. Verse 3. Then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. So you had a bunch of different people, nations, and languages there. That's how like the world had to do this, right? Same thing. That at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music. You're going to hear this music. Ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. If I had time and capability, I would have showed y'all some clips of the Arabs. This is what they do still to this day. Certain times of the day, they may have certain music that come on, and they fall down and they worship. This is what they do. It's what they do. It's not nothing new. So at the end, just hold on. Let me get through this. Verse 8. Yeah, verse 8. Wherefore at the time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. So they came in to accuse the Jews. Now we're going to drop down to verse 12. It says, there are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not the gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, whatever, in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? So now you're checking them like, so y'all ain't worshiping my image I set up? And he really mad because these people weren't just regular people. These are people he kind of had picked to be over other Israelites. So this would be a bad look for him because what if everybody else started doing what they doing? So he brought them in. Then it says, now if you be ready that at what time now if you be ready that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if you worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? So he get mad. I'm gonna throw y'all in this hot fire, and I want to know what God gonna say. Since you don't want to worship my God, we're gonna see what your God can do. You might need to have this same mentality during the mark of the beast, because it's the same thing for those that ain't in the wilderness. Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. So they talk back to him. We're not scared to answer you. We gonna talk. We're gonna talk our talk. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. Can you imagine talking to the king like that? The king. People won't even talk to the president like that now. This is the king of the world, basically, and he is killing people that ain't worshiping his image, and he giving them a harsh death. He's saying, throw them in the fire. Just throw them Negroes in the fire. I say Negroes because that's what they were. Throw them Negroes in the fire and let them burn up. And they'll find out that they should have worshiped our God. They said, look, we ain't careful to answer you. We're going to give you a straight up answer. We're not going to do it, right? Verse 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we would not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So let's get verse 30 and get the conclusion. So now, if you read the story, because look, we ain't got the time. That's why I said we're going straight to the conclusion. Now, y'all do remember in this story, they made it out, right? Everything was good. You remember that or you don't remember? And they made it out, right? Everything was good. So we're going to verse 30. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. So he promoted them now. I would too. I'd be scared if I threw 3 people in a burning fire and somebody be like, hey, they still in there moving around. It's been about 30 minutes. 2 hours later, they still in there. They're in there just talking and laughing and playing rock, paper, scissors. I said, all right. They're in there playing rock, paper, scissors. They having a good time. They somebody must have dice in their pocket. They shooting dice and dice ain't melt. They having a good old time. And there's 4 people in there. 4? No, I threw 3 people in there. See, she want me to read the story. You almost got me. I ain't finna read the story. Y'all read it on your own time. But y'all, especially if you want to know who the 4th person was. But that show you, even in a hard time, God will still be there. You just got to go through a hard time. The Bible didn't say that it won't hot. It just didn't burn them up and they died. I mean, they didn't die. It didn't say, and it was room temperature in there. Oh, no, they probably sweating now. Because God going to still prove you. Let's continue, though. Real quick, I just want to point out that the image, we seen the image, right? The same people got the same image. They even, when you go to, might be Revelation 18, they even call this beast the daughter of Babylon. And this is Babylon, right? So we seen the image, we seen the mark, we seen forehead and hand explained. We even seen 666 shown again. I almost want to show it again. I almost want to show it again now. Because that's clear. But instead of showing it again, I'm going to show something real quick. I don't know what time I got. What time am I at?
1 hour, 9 minutes.
I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna end it there then. We'll go into it on the next one. Because I did enough for the Mark of the Beast, so that's the lesson, the Mark of the Beast. If you got questions, comments, you can contact me through the website if you want to ask it personally, or of course you can throw it in the chat and I'll get to it as soon as possible. Hopefully this was clear. 666, the Mark of the Beast. In Greek, when you put the Greek number for 666, it gives you the Aramaic or Arabic language, the same symbol, and it's Bismillah. which is in the name of Allah. So 666 is in the name of Allah. And when they tell you, when you read it and it says you got to know his name, you know it now. When it says the number of his name, you know the number. And these are particular people that subscribe to this religion. So the mark of the beast will be brought to you according to how I'm seeing things. This is my perspective from the Bible, but it's my perspective. The mark of the beast will be instituted by none other than Islam. So stay woke, stay vigilant. I didn't say this in the beginning. Like, share, and subscribe. I can't read that, but I'll get to that whenever we need.
No, I was telling you to like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't say it in the beginning, but like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support. Man, peace and blessings. I don't know. I might do a second one today, but if not, I appreciate y'all time. We out.